So on Friday, the latest on the Ohio State front was they announced that they expect that they're going to finish up actually today, Sunday, that the investigation into Urban Meyer and to the program is going to be completed, and investigators should have a report of their findings this upcoming week. And so you would assume that this week would be the week that we would find out Urban Meyer's fate, whether or not he's fired or suspended or whatever the punishment is. And so, gosh, it was so weird. Just a couple hours after that came out, Brett McMurphy posts a column he put together, new findings. He is the person who, quote unquote, broke the story of the Zach Smith Urban Meyer issue. And so Brett McMurphy comes out with the following. This was on WatchStadium.com. Documents and receipts Stadium, which is WatchStadium.com, has obtained show Zach Smith ordered more than $2,200 in sex toys, male apparel, and photography equipment, and had the items delivered to him at Ohio State's Woody Hayes Athletic Center. Courtney Smith and Zach Smith took multiple photos of his inside the Ohio State coaches' offices, inside the White House when the Buckeyes visited in 2015, and also photographed himself in the coaches' offices receiving oral sex and having sex with an OSU staffer. But wait, there's more. One photo of Smith's taken on April 20, 2015, according to a timestamp, shows Smith in his black suit he wore to the White House event. Another photo of Smith's includes a White House bathroom towel featuring the seal of the President of the United States. So I ask you, Brady Quinn, you are an expert on this, not the sex toys. You are an expert on this. What does this have to do with Urban Meyer's situation at Ohio State? I'm curious. I'm just trying to figure that out.
So it doesn't have anything really to do with it, but here's where it could become involved. So Zach Smith being in the Ohio State facility, hooking up with a coworker, right, who was later on fired. There could be some sort of issue there as far as I'm not even sure in regards to like how that would affect HR within Ohio State, but it could be a wrongful determination or a termination if that was the case, because if they found out about it and they were protecting Zach because he hooked up with this young woman, they're going to want to investigate that and figure that out. In regards to the sex toys and the pictures, that's just to try to make him look like an already worse guy, which is tough to do right now based on all the information that Brett McMurphy has. I guess, and this always goes back to what I said initially, if you're a reporter, your job is to be objective. Even if things are as one-sided as they seem, you still have to paint the entire picture for people. That's where he hasn't done that. He hasn't at all. And at no point has he come back with a counterpoint to his own argument or his own discussion within everything he's reported. And so I'm not defending Zach Smith. He should probably go to jail for some of the stuff that he's done if it all is true, and that's to be found out in a court of law. But what he's doing is taking one side of it and reporting it in a very twisted, calculated way, which makes me think he's got a motive. There's something else going on with all of this with Brett McMurphy. And I know some of it's clickbait, some of it's to get him recognition because – look, he was let go from ESPN. He's been unemployed. He just recently got hired by Watch, which no one even knows what that is in regards to the reporting. So he's trying to make a name for them right now. I just don't know if this is the best way of going about doing it. And the worst thing of all, Jonas, is think about the stuff he's bringing out, where little kids are going to find out about all this stuff. Like to bury Zach Smith, he doesn't need to do it. Well, and I don't know why he feels like it's necessary to bring all this out. Even the affair with the staffer, you can just talk about that and not talk about or show or display everything else. And there is some question from Zach Smith's attorney whether or not what he found and what he was able to put out there publicly was found in a legal manner. If it's not, he could be subject to a potential felony. I mean, and look, the picture of him, you can tell because it's his black suit. Well, it could be worse. It could be Crocs. Shout out Brett Favre. But forget all that stuff. That's all neither here nor there. It's just the Crocs. Yeah, come watch on. Too, okay?
Yeah, true. But here's the part that I find funny. So you ask people, okay, so what does this have to do with what we're talking about and whether Urban Meyer should be fired? Well, Urban Meyer should know what's going on with his assistants. Oh, so Urban Meyer should carry a box cutter knife on him and go through the mail to find out which one of his assistant coaches is getting a ball gag sent to him. Okay, so that's what we're talking about here. So Urban Meyer should now know how kinky members of his staff are. Because if he doesn't know, or if he should be fired because of that. It doesn't add up to me. Here's what I find, and this is an element to the story. And people can say, well, you're not focusing on the story, you're focusing on Brett McMurphy. No, unfortunately, when somebody goes at a story this hard, they become part of the story. That's just a reality here. Everything should be taken into account. I like to do deep dives on stuff. I don't like to do surface takes. Brett McMurphy is a part of this story. Do you find it a little bit coincidental that every time the other side speaks, Brett McMurphy's got a response a couple hours later? The first time Urban Meyer came out and put out a statement and Zach Smith made the rounds in Columbus radio and denied the allegations, hey, there was Brett McMurphy right afterwards with a screenshot of a text message from Zach Smith's wife back in the day that he held on to so that he could use it in the first time they spoke out and denied the allegations. That was the first time. Then 2 weeks later, they announced that the investigation will be completed Sunday and they'll turn over their findings next week. And 2 hours later, there's Brett McMurphy with a story about an assistant coach who had sex toys and took crank pics at the White House. And it goes up and he's got pictures of the receipts and all of that stuff. I find that a little odd to me. Something else I found in the article that I tipped you off. Again, this is the law offices of Knox and Quinn. We are for hire. We found this little tidbit in the article. It says, and again, this article came out on Friday, that 2 days ago, the Toledo Blade reported that Smith was arrested for suspected drunken driving on February 23rd, 2013. Okay, had that whole little write-up. Okay, that was on Friday. This article came out. That story came out on Monday. I know that because we were at your golf tournament when that story came out. I was talking about it with your friends. That story came out 4 days ago. Not 2 days from when he posted this latest piece. So what I think happened is one of two things. I think either there was an editorial error or somebody misprinted it and they meant to put 4 and instead put 2. Or what I think happened, Brett McMurphy had this story. He had it on Wednesday. He already had it written up. And he forgot to edit it when he posted it on Friday. That's what I think. And if that's the case, and that's true, and he's holding on to information as a counterpunch, which he's already done multiple times, and this could have been the third time within 2 weeks, if he's holding on to information to be a counterpunch to whatever the statement is from the other side, you have to question the motivation. If you don't, you are being blind and you are being biased. You've got to question all of it.
And at this point, people will say, well, what's the motivation for Brett McMurphy? The guy's out of a job. He's selling himself to everyone out there. He was able to get a job by using the platforms Facebook and Watch, which is what they utilize now to put games on digitally. And so that's kind of the venue that they use to be able to put it up there. So that's what the motivation is. He's trying to put food on the table for his family. And I by the way, I've talked to other writers in the industry. And there's a lot of people who've told me, man, he stooped to levels that I would never contemplate in this case because it's just unnecessary. The information that was initially put out there, that's already kind of buried Zach Smith. He's fired. He's going to have to go to court. Those things probably would have taken place regardless of some of these counterattacks that Brett McMurphy has put out there. It's unwarranted. And some people feel like it's unethical in some ways.
Because here's the part, and we were talking about this last week sort of off the air, but here's the part that I don't know how you can look at this story and not find it a little bit odd and find it to be a personal vendetta that Brett McMurphy has. If you're reporting on a story and what you care about most is justice and what you care about most is the victim involved, which is Zach Smith's wife, then why did you hold on to information and not put it in your initial findings? You know what it is? And I made this comparison. Brett McMurphy's like a guy looking to scalp tickets or somebody that goes to the garage sale. All right. The trick when you go to a garage sale is when you see a coffee table for $50, what you do is you carry $30 in your front pocket, you put $10 in your back right, and another 10 in your back left. And when you walk up there and they say, yeah, how much you got? Oh, God, all I got is 30. Sorry, man. I can't turn it around for 30. I could get 50 for this. That's the price. Oh, look at, wouldn't you know it? There it is in my back pocket. There's another $10 bill. Here we go. Does 40 work for you? Yeah, I'll take 40. Little does he know he's got more in the back left pocket. Brett McMurphy is walking around with extra cash in his back pockets on the story, and he's only willing to part with it when another side speaks about it. That's not honest reporting. It's not. No. He's holding on to info, and I don't know why nobody wants to call it out because you're deemed not caring about the victim. To me, not caring about the victim is the guy that's holding back information just in case somebody steps to him on social media. I think it's a joke.
No, and again, it's not professional. You could go on the record as saying it's unethical in some ways, and